one of the most common illusions that we're all under is that if I have outward material success, that I will be happy. In very simple terms, if I have nice things, if I have a nice outward life situation, that I will be happy. It's an unconscious assumption that most of us kind of fall victim to. And by falling victim to this, there will come a time that is typically something like a midlife crisis, where someone achieves material success to one degree or another and still doesn't feel happier. They feel just as they always have, actually. They still feel the way they did when they were young, before they had accumulated any level of material success. And so, this is typically what the midlife crisis is. Let's say a typical man is promoted to, get good grades at school, get a uni degree, get a good job, work hard, do all the right things, maybe have a house and a wife and kids and accumulate a body of wealth, to one degree or another. And then he might reach his 40s, let's say, and then he still feels the same. He still feels a little bit, in fact, he feels a little bit worse because he feels a bit duped. He feels a bit duped by life and by the system and by, the man or whatever. He's kind of like, I'm not happy. He starts to notice his face aging, his hair going grey, and he starts to think, I'm getting older. Perhaps he's divorced and then finds himself back in the dating scene. Or perhaps he's married, but his wife, doesn't turn him on, and he's casting his gaze at younger women. And then he just thinks, I've done it all. I did what I was told to do. And I still feel kind of empty. I don't feel the happiness that I was kind of promised. And not that anyone actually promised it to him, but he was led to believe it by society. Maybe parents, maybe the priest, maybe the school teacher, maybe, advertising, media, whatever. His environment in a collective manner kind of made him believe somewhere, somehow, that through the material realm, he was going to become sort of happy and fulfilled. Now, there's nothing wrong with having nice things. Having nice things is nice, but it doesn't lead to happiness. You can be very happy and peaceful and joyful driving a rickety old car, let's say. And you can also be miserable and anxious and really fed up with life driving a Bentley or a Rolls or whatever. They don't correlate. And so this is one of the primary illusions that we're under. Happiness is a different thing. The word happiness is been really misconstrued. To be happy really is only a temporary elevation of mood. I don't know, I win a scratchy and I win $1,000 on it. I have a small lotto win or something. I'm like, hey, wicked, and I feel happy for a bit. Or the deal goes through and I make a bit, or a girl says yes to me to go on a date, or I get a promotion, or whatever it is, something, and I get this temporary elevation of mood. But that doesn't last, of course. A temporary elevation of mood or happiness is really, a very fleeting phenomenon. If we're serious about actually being happy, we have to chuck out happiness and instead focus on things like balance, well-being, mental clarity, accurate perception of things, and your own sort of personal balance and harmony. And perhaps most of all, importantly of all, learning how to be joyful for no reason. they're what we're really craving. And if you achieve those things, your outward material success is kind of neither here nor there. Because if I'm joyful, just in my own skin, walking along the beach, driving any vehicle at all, regardless of brand or condition, I'm okay with where I live. The name of the suburb and that kind of ego part of where I live and my house and location and all that, whatever, that's all beside the point. If my house, is filled with mold and the roof leaks and there's rusty nails everywhere and I cut myself on, yeah, that's uncomfortable. That's not comfortable. But that's not why we buy the houses we buy very often, is it? That's often not why we choose the suburb we live. It's nothing to do with well-being. It's ego, it's prestige, it's to kind of show and prove. You see, we've really bastardized happiness. There's an illusion around it all. So, very often, people become disillusioned. People become disillusioned at some stage in their life, especially when they achieve their goals. See, if I never achieve my goals and I'm always dead broke, then I think if I got the money and I got the stuff and I got the house and the car or whatever, then I will be happy. And so I always sort of live in some sort of hopefulness. I always live in hope because if it does work out, then I'll be happy. When it does work out and you actually get it and you still feel unhappy, that's a problem. See, this is where rock stars and movie stars and stuff often lose themselves in drugs, alcohol, and the suicide rates among things like very successful rock stars and all that, Elvis Presley, Michael Hutchinson. Hey man, I had a brain fart. I know Elvis didn't kill himself. Maybe by installments. I'm talking about Kurt Cobain, Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington. There's lots of them. You get the picture. They have incredible wealth, incredible success. Most people would just die for that level of success. And yet, the suicide rate among these sort of super successful people is incredibly high. The Tao Te Ching tells us, a book well worth a read, the Tao Te Ching tells us that too much success is not an advantage. See, too much success leads to disillusionment because you get it all and then you go, oh, I'm actually more anxious, more depressed, more identified with my ego, more identified with objects and things, more identified with people's opinions. And then I realise in the midst of all that, I'm deeply unhappy, deeply unjoyful, deeply unsatisfied. There's no hope. Let me end it now. You see the problem with identifying and with our happiness? What I promote is finding physical balance and well-being, mental equilibrium, accurate perception of yourself and the world and how they relate, to find joy in daily living regardless and irrespective of the ups and downs, and to flow with your work, your jobs, your life and your purpose in a natural way, to let your life unfold naturally, not force it, not striving, not effort, not working hard. We're always taught everything should be hard. I teach martial arts. Most people, I gotta train hard. No, you don't have to train hard. Train joyfully, train safely, train respectfully. let your skills develop slowly and naturally. You don't have to rush. You don't blow your body apart training hard. Same as work. You work, let your work flow. You don't have to work hard. So you let your daily life become joyful and effortless. In this way, happiness becomes your natural state. You don't chase happiness. There's not happiness based on achieving something. It's just a natural flow of balance and harmony. There's ups and downs, of course. Ups and downs are incredibly natural. We're supposed to, everything goes through ups and downs. So this is the natural order of things, and you learn to start to get in the current of life. Forget happiness and you'll be a lot happier.